Everybody, wow, it's been a long time since I've been on back online, but I've got a really good excuse for that. Uh, After my last video I made, my mom had actually fallen and broken her foot, which means I had to make sure she stayed off of her foot and in bed. So I had to do everything that she normally does. I had to give her everything she wanted, like lunch, breakfast, dinner, and clean the dishes and do the cooking and whatever else she did when she had two legs. So I had to somehow find a wheelchair by going to thrift stores, and luckily I found a inexpensive wheelchair, but it did cost me everything I had in my savings. So now I'm back to back to level 0, and I'm still trying to work on saving money for my move, for my car, for my new computer. I've got lots and lots of expenses and very little money. So next month, I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough kratom to to get me through the month. So that's a little scary. Okay, enough about me. Now, how kratom can change lives? That's what this video is supposed to be about. And I recently was going through my YouTube subscriptions, and I found one channel in particular that I've always often liked. His name is Mac Lethal, and he does he creates rap songs for people who write poetry, old ladies or widows who wanna write a letter to their deceased spouse, and but they want to turn it into a song and get it to everybody. So Mac Lethal takes those poems and letters and turns them into a rap, and gives them a public platform, making these elderly people feel very good. Or a young kid will write a poem about the abuse his parents is giving him and how it's so unfair, and he feels like he doesn't have a voice, so he'll write a poem about it, and Mac Lethal will in turn turn it into a pretty good rap song. Well, the last rap song I heard was about his narcotics addiction and how he beat it, and it was very inspirational and done very well. And I would suggest that you all look up Mac Lethal, and the video is called My Addiction. And in that song, he actually mentions kratom as one of the ways that he got off of narcotics, and how it changed his life forever, because without it, he would have been still, going through the horrible opiate withdrawal and narcotics withdrawal, which we all know is horrible if you've ever had to do it. I had to do it, and I turned to kratom because it takes away a lot of the pain and mental anguish that you go through when getting off of these horrible drugs. And it's such a controversy because it works so well, mimicking the effects of these narcotics, therefore making getting off of them easier, that some people think, well, it must be a narcotic or an opiate itself. Science has proven that it's not. However, it does trick your brain into thinking that it is. So therefore, where Suboxone is supposed to be reducing the level of your narcotics slowly, but there's been clinically been more evidence showing that kratom, because it's not super addictive, it doesn't give you that crazy euphoria that you're going to be chasing for the rest of your life, called chasing the dragon, and you can slowly get off of it and no longer need narcotics or drugs. And also, kratom, for a lot of people who have chronic pain, can take kratom and it'll eliminate that pain. For me especially, I've noticed this firsthand because I have a lot of chronic pain from a stroke that I had that paralyzed the left side of my body, causing muscle spasticity, and my bones aren't held in place because I have no muscle holding them there. So my shoulder's dislocated and I can't move it at all, and it hurts chronically, especially when I sleep on it, because it's pinching nerves and stuff that if I had muscles it wouldn't pinch, but I don't, so I've got to suffer with it. And red kratom in particular helps me with that pain. I mean, it's almost eliminated it. And my entire life I've suffered horrible migraines, and with the help of kratom, taking kratom one time, I haven't had a migraine since, and that's been about 15 years of using it. I took my first cup of kratom 15 years ago, and I had a kratom tea that a holistic medicine man had given me when I was living in a commune. And at the time, I was prescribed hydrocodone for my migraines. And you can imagine how that turned out. I mean, every time I thought I was getting a headache, I would take a hydrocodone because I was chasing that dragon. Because not only did it get rid of my migraine, or hide the pain from my migraine, but it would also make me feel euphoric, where kratom would get rid of the pain and give me a very, very, very mild euphoria, which I'm not trying to chase all the time. I drink kratom for pain relief, and also it really helps my anxiety, because right now I'm getting off of my prescribed anxiety medication because it's a controlled substance, and you're not supposed to be on controlled substances for long term because they become addictive and problems, as you all know. And so I take my anxiety prescriptions only at night to help me sleep through the night, because I can't drink kratom all night while I'm sleeping. So I've gone from 4 milligrams day and night to 1 milligram for the night, and I drink kratom during the day. And during the day, I don't really feel the anxiety that I felt before kratom, without kratom. And so it's changed my life significantly, and it's given me a platform to talk about on YouTube, which gives me, a 100% disabled human being, something to study and talk about. And I want to answer a couple of comments. Somebody had commented that it's pronounced actually K-R hard A-T-O-M, because they hear me call it kratom with a soft A. And that's because that's the way people in the kratom community call it. And kratom is a perversion of the original, because people are rebellious, and if they hear something the right way, they want to be rebellious and call it what they want to call it. And that's fine. You can call it whatever you want, but don't try to tell me how to say it, because I say it my way, because that's the way I prefer to say it. And you have no right to try to put somebody else down because they pronounce something differently than you do. So keep your ridiculous comments to yourself. I don't need them, and I don't listen to them. I just delete them. So you're not talking to me, you're talking to no one, because I delete them usually before they're even available for anybody else to see. And I was told that kratom doesn't grow in Bali, and to be completely honest with you, I don't even know where Bali is. But there is kratom named Red Bali, so I made an assumption that kratom was grown in Bali. And so it's forcing me now, tonight, to do some research onto where Bali is and to see if kratom is actually grown in Bali and what makes it special. Because I find that the kratom labeled Kratom Red Bali is very good. I mean, I want to know where it comes from and what makes it special. Because kratom from Vietnam is called Mang Da. And it's Mang Da because because of the soil in Vietnam, it's a very high grade kratom with a lot of Mitragyna speciosa, and this has been lab tested and proven. So then the people who sell it decided to just use the name Mangda on everything. I mean, even kratom grown in Indonesia, they'll call Mangda, which to me is just a marketing technique that isn't really true. There is a true Mangda, which literally is translated to the pimp's grade, which means the pimp usually gets the best, I guess. And I'm not in that society or that culture with pimps and tricks and all that stuff. So I took it to mean the highest grade. And kratom from Vietnam, a certain part of Vietnam called Mangda, is really good. But just because a product is labeled Mangda doesn't actually make it Mangda. So ask your distributor, where does this kratom come from? What country? What area of the country? Apparently there's a kratom that comes from the Philippines. It's got a totally different name because it's a Filipino name, but it does have Mitragyna speciosa, and from what I've heard, it's a really strong kratom because of the Filipino environment. It's very wet and rainy, and has a really good soil for farming and growth of this particular tree. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I try to get back to them as soon as I see them. Some days I'm around my computer a lot more than others. Some days I've got to help my mom or go to doctor's appointments or try to find some way to get some extra money, doing online jobs. I have a GoFundMe that has been fairly successful. I mean, I've gotten $40 from it, which honestly helped me with gas and to get to my doctor's appointments and to pay for some of my medications. And I am very grateful for that because it took a lot of stress off of me. And I'm really appreciative and grateful to all of you who contributed. Unfortunately, I don't get your YouTube usernames I get your real names, and I don't know who to thank. So I try to send a thank you email to whoever sent the donation, which is amazing. I'm waiting for a $10 donation, which should arrive, I guess, October 4th. So it does take a few days for it to actually hit my bank, but it does hit my bank. And I immediately put it in my savings account for emergencies. And it has been used for emergencies, and I am so grateful for that. So thank you all. I love you all. And if you have a negative or ridiculous comment trying to put me down personally because you don't like me, which is very possible. Some people love me, some people hate me. Let's try to keep this a positive arena, because I do the best to give you the most honest and scientific information I can find. And so far, I believe I've helped a lot of people according to the comments. So I'm saying, if you have a addiction problem, try kratom. Try it slowly at first, and do it during your withdrawal. Like the second day after you have stopped taking a medication or a narcotic, try having a cup of kratom. And I would use about 0.5 grams for a cup. I don't believe the toss and wash method works well, because the powder separates from the water or the juice and just sits in your gut and does nothing for you but give you a stomach ache. But I believe making a hot tea really gets the kratom to your blood quicker and doesn't settle in your stomach so much, making you ill. I live on kratom tea, switching strains for every other cup. So this cup is red, the cup before was green, the cup before that was white, and I have no pain, I'm not depressed, I'm not anxious, and I'm definitely not craving any narcotics or pain relievers. I'm able to have more energy because it is a stimulant as well. and I'm also able to relax and slow my mind down so I can do certain things. Well, thank you all very much for making it through the entire video. I will try really hard to continue making videos depending on my life situation, because it's pretty hard right now, unfortunately. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye.